Here we are, TnT Motorsports, or motocross, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to do a walkthrough video. This is a track from 2023. This track, as you can see, well put together. This is the night after. But a very kid-friendly track, but there is some jumps on it that you got to have some talent to do. Classes are all the way from 50cc class all the way up to the big boys open A, and we do run a couple quad classes here that get kind of hairy, but this is the track aftermath here. Race last night. I just want to show you how all the ruts are and how this track sets in good. So here's our staging area, walking up to the gate. This gate holds 30 riders, 15 on each side. As you can see, last night's rut's still there. But here's your hole shot coming out, and it's a very nice hole shot because obviously it hooks a heavy left. So I guess in order to get the whole shot here, you gotta outrun everybody about 80 yards. Because everybody fights for this tire, and then you go straight down the main stretch here. Obviously, as you can see, throughout the night, all the rocks got kicked out of this here. And this here is sort of like a roller section. Very small rollers. And this is all your hole shot we determined. Obviously, the first one around to this big yellow tire up here is gonna win your hole shot. Last night had a little extra mud here. So that made it difficult at times, but the majority of the big bikes flying right through all this stuff. But this here is all your hole shot. Like I said, it's a good 60, 70 yards long. We got some very nice berms here. Everybody was taking the inside last night here, where I thought a few riders that did take it hot outside, they were quicker, but obviously their distance was further. So everybody was hitting the brakes here. Nice just jump off here, not much to land on. It's about 4 foot high. And you come into a series of 4 to 5 rollers here. Track's very dry, so these rollers and jumps are packed good. There ain't no sloppiness in them or anything like that. And then this turn here, everybody was hitting these tires hard, where I thought the outside here, there's a few kids that were hitting this outside with money and just holding it to the floor. So you can see how high that berm is. But everybody was taking it here. And it seemed like there was no grip because this ground is so packed here, if you look. Where the outside's that fluffy flat dirt, those kids are just roosting out of here. I thought the advantage was to them. Big heavy rut here, you can see that's about 10 inches deep. And you come into another section of whoops here. 4 or 5 whoops. These babies are about 10 foot apart. And then same thing here, everybody was hitting the brakes and taking this sharp turn. A lot of kids were wiping out or bumping into each other or jamming up here. Where I thought the quicker track, where there was no traffic, was this berm right here, where you could just hold it to the floor. But obviously you had to hit the brakes here with this giant roller. This roller's probably about 8 to 10 foot high maybe. And obviously there's nothing on the other side. So there was guys that was kind of jumping down there to the bottom and casing their machine. Most of the guys rolled this hard. Then there's a very nice section here. I like this. This is one of my favorite spots of the track, which is where the mechanics stand and parents right there with the blue flag. Because you can hold the hammer here. A lot of guys have said they're hitting 3rd gear, maybe even 4th. And that wall right here, you can see that rut is heavy and high. And that takes you right into this jump off into the sea. Where even the guys on trail bikes were skying off of this. But if you want me to turn around here, I'll show you how heavy that rut is. And that's a good 30-yard head start to come hammer here. Then obviously, there were some guys last night, even in the pro class, they were taking the high road over here and not jumping, where several of the kids obviously were launching off of this. This is a good lip here. This is about a 3 foot jump, and obviously lands you on nothing but real estate down here. But a very good run off of that rut corner. It's fun to watch because everybody hammers it. And then here's a new section that they added. This was just a section of like 5 or 6 big rollers, and they turned this into 2 doubles, but obviously it takes some talent to hit them. A few guys were, some kids have been dumping the bikes here, but you get a good start here. You can see how heavy this rut is, this rut of wall here. A lot of guys are getting a good heavy run off of that. And then you can either go to the right where you can roll this, or you can hit this heavy high lip here and double this, which obviously takes some nuggets, because that standing at the top of this now, that's a good 40 feet at least. And then there's your roller all the way down. So he made this into a double, or you can roll it all the way down. And this is the pit area where parents can stand, whatever, cheer the kids on in the staging run. And then that rolls you into another. Here's another big lip for another chance at a double. Like I said, majority are rolling this. Big boys are clearing this. This is about 30 foot here to landing. Then obviously just a dip off roller, nice lip. I call this the horseshoe turn here. As you can see, it comes down and horseshoes into a big U. I call it the horseshoe turn. So if you hear me on the mic and I say they're coming out of the horseshoe, this is where they're coming out of, to obviously the final turn. And you can see the popularity contest here was this is, geez, that's 12 inches wide by 10 inches deep at least. So that was the popularity. Coming from there to here was the inside, which once again, I thought the outside guys laid the hammer, had more real estate to cover, but they had the hammer down. They didn't have to stop where these guys were stopping. But I'm not a rider, so clearly they know what they're doing. Another section of just small rollers. Nobody was doubling this. Guys were just ripping this. This is a combination of like manure, dirt, and sand is what they're running up here. But it's very, very packed, and the track, no accidents last night, no injuries, nothing like that. So it's super safe. A little rocky, as you can see at points, which we were trying to in between motos. Walk it and throw rocks. Once again, this is final stage, final turn. I call this last turn. Everybody was taking this, but you can see how packed it is compared to the ruttage here. Heavy ruttage here. Guys were screaming around here, just leaving it in third gear, whatever. We got here, had to downshift and come around the tire. Once again, heavy ruttage. Some of the 50cc bikes, these guys struggled here, because you can see how wide that rut is. It's 12 inches wide by 8 inches deep. And that's bringing you home to the finish line here. Just a little 2-foot jump roller here, you can call it. A lot of kids were laying the hammer here. Obviously, you can see there's their overview of the track from where we started at the gate. So a very kid-friendly track. Very much longer track than last year. All that down there by the pit area is all new added. That was trailers and parking there. Last year they kicked all that out of there. And they made another easy roller. And then here's where some guys have a lot of difficulty, because if you don't full send this machine right here, this is a huge lip here at the finish line. If you don't full send this, a lot of guys have wrecked here or cased their machine. So you got a full send here, because you got a nice lip that's going to throw you 40 feet plus here. But obviously majority, 75% are rolling this, where the bigger, more experienced guys are obviously doubling this tabletop. But that's at least 40 feet, if not more. So if you don't full send it here, as you can see, this rolls down, bellies down in. You can case your bike easily, like right here, which a lot of kids are doing. Okay, they're bringing right here. They're hitting that lip, not full send, not sure if they want to. And then they're bellying their bike here or casing it. But the other guys, obviously, who have the talent, whatever, to full send, are landing here on the nice taper off. And you can see how far that is. And that is your finish line. And then that wraps you all the way around here. Couple tricky double, I would call it. You could double this here. A lot of guys are just skipping that and ripping these rollers hard, and that's going to set you up for the triple here at the track. And this is where the better guys, or obviously even the KX85 guys that have experience, they have a decision here. Huge lip. This is a triple for most. This is a double for some. This is rollers for most. So as you can see here, good guys are destroying this here and tripling this, which that's a good, geez. If you had to get a tape measure out, that's 50 plus feet. So you better be down on the hammer to land on that other lip. But most guys are doubling this. Obviously the young kids are rolling this. Most guys are landing here. The pro guys, the bigger guys, they're landing here. And if you take a good look from where I just walked, that's a hell of a launch for that's not a very big lip. That's maybe a 3.5 foot lip. But they are clearing this. And then this one here is really, really decisive because there's nothing on the other side of it and it's a giant lip. So yeah, here is question mark city because quads and guys, they're flying. This is a giant lip to land on nothing. So I'm up here probably a good 5 feet standing here now. And obviously, so you have to roll this. Most guys are jumping it, but as they come down here, they're casing the machine pretty hard. And then this one here, my son has just learned to hit this one. He's been doing good on the very first one you saw me show. And then he's been doubling this one, which nice slip, nice send off, not very big, easy double, even for like a beginner, but that's a good, if I had to get the tape measure out, that's a good 25 feet. Right, so you got to send it or you're going to case your machine right on the face here. Easy double for most, but you can see giant lip, non-experienced riders, that's a big lip looking to the heavens, and you either got to hit it or you got to roll it. So there is your triple double section here, probably the biggest jumps at TnT. As you can look at your overlay here, we're back at the gate in your full straightaway. So that's probably our biggest section of jumps. That's what makes this so kid friendly. It's more about turns and ripping into corners and whoops, which I think is more impressive in motocross, because the guys that can come out of the corners hard or know how to shift their machines or take the right lie or ruts or whatever you want to call it, I think they are quicker. And this track here definitely gives you that opportunity to be a little smarter on what lie you're going to take. And then here's our final turn. Everybody was taking this inside over the little whoop-de-whoop here. I'm a fan of staying out in this heavy, fresh stuff where you can roost and barrel, which the rut got good here and packed. So you can rip it hard all the way around. And you can see it again, how heavy the ruts were from last night. This one here, deep again. Everybody's running this deep one. And another questionable roller here, right? It's a very 10-foot high roller here. Nowhere to land on the other side. 85% of the population was rolling this hard. As you can see the divot here at the other end. Obviously, like the pro guys were going out, and some of them guys were even casing it because they were hammering this and landing out on flat land. Right about here. Some of them were casing, no accidents or nothing. And then obviously you're back to your 75 yards of hammer down to restart lap 2. Because there's your gate. But after you come over this heavy roller here, you got hammered down for a good, like you said, almost a half a football field, if not more. So that is TnT Motorsports Motocross. We're three races in. We got 3 more to go here at the Lawrence County Fairgrounds. I figured I'd just do a walkthrough video like I do every year. Since the track has changed, we're not allowed to use those 2 lanes no more, which is sad because a lot of the fans love just sitting in the grandstands and entertainment, stuff like that. And they could sit up against that white rail. Whereas you can see now they pushed us out of here only onto the flat track. So we're wasting, geez, there's a good 2 lanes there. And that is probably, I don't know, 40 yards away. But we're not allowed to till that up to, I guess, make the track. So we have to leave that as is. So a couple of years that we did have some jumps in there. We had some crazy accidents, of course, because like it was too slick because we couldn't till it up. But hopefully, maybe Fahrenheit, we get some jumps in there because the fans do miss sitting up in the stands, obviously covered from the weather and the sun and stuff. Instead, they're forced to sit right here. As you can see, this is where they leave the track, but they are close. But that is TnT Motorsports track here, 2023. We race every other Friday. And our finale, I think, is August the 14th. That's a Monday night. we are the show at the fair here, folks. So over and out here from Lawrence County Fair, TnT Motorsports 2023.